everyone, today I'm sitting here in the park all by myself filming a video about how beneficial it is to spend time all by yourself. I really enjoy spending time by myself, but of course I don't like feeling lonely. Today we're going to explore the difference between these two things and why nowadays so many people admit that they don't have friends. Being alone is okay. We have all experienced loneliness. Loneliness is the sense of isolation, even when other people are around us. It is a state of sadness. It feels heavy and empty. It weighs down on our bodies and our minds. In contrast, solitude is a choice to be alone and to use that time to self-reflect. It's about being present with oneself and enjoying your own company. Solitude is a healthy personal choice, and loneliness might have a lot of negative consequences. A recent Harvard study found a very strong connection between feeling lonely and work exhaustion. The more people are exhausted, the lonelier they feel. We've been told so many times that happiness comes from within, but yet we have never been taught how to be alone with ourselves. Aristotle once said that when you're thinking or reflecting on things, it's a lot better to do it alone, without anyone else present. But Aristotle didn't have a smartphone. I feel like real solitude is almost impossible to experience nowadays. We listen to podcasts when we brush our teeth. We scroll through Instagram and TikTok on the subway. We can't simply be. We feel compelled to always do. So many people are scared of boredom, or rather where it will take them, what they will hear and experience in their heads. That's why I think that it requires a lot of inner strength to be alone and to be happy, truly happy while being alone. I was only able to discover that through therapy because when I first moved to Mexico, and originally I'm from Russia, I felt extremely lonely. I didn't know anyone and I hated being by myself. I always wanted to be in the presence of somebody else, anyone, just any person I could talk to. Being by myself was so freaking scary. I dreaded that feeling, the feeling of loneliness. But then I realized that I had to stop running away from myself. I made this choice to move to Mexico and to live here. And I still love that I made that choice. So I had to start working on my inner feelings, on this feeling of loneliness, and do something about it. I still had my choice. I could go back to my home country, or I could try to build my life here and start feeling truly happy here. So I think it's so important to find this inner strength, this inner support within you. Simply by seeing how many people are drawn to the content of practicing solitude or having no friends, I can tell that we're all deeply affected by it. For example, this video was watched by over 2 million people, and the most liked comment says, "I'm 72 years old and just now accepting the reality that it's okay to be alone and not lonely."
And I've also, though, embraced that idea that if there are times in your life where you feel disconnected, you feel like you haven't yet met your people, to see that as a beautiful time that can have a lot of meaning and a lot of benefit. And you might even realize that you enjoy spending time with yourself.
Like fear, the only way to overcome loneliness is to face it, to imagine it getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it's gonna disappear completely. This way, I opened myself up to new possibilities. I developed stronger problem-solving skills, and I started learning more things about myself and about the world. I approached it like an experiment, and I started enjoying it a lot.
So when the feeling of loneliness bubbles up, it's something I tried to examine with curiosity.
Why hobbies are important. I think that for me, hobbies are a way to discover myself in the process. I always approach it in this way. If I have never tried this thing before, how would I know if I actually like it or if I'm actually good at it, if I will enjoy the whole process? So I need to try it and then see it for myself. But what I have also discovered about myself recently is because of social media, I often can't just do a specific thing just because I want to do it. You know, I can't draw for the sake of drawing. I have to draw something that actually looks good because I want to share it on social media and I want to make sure that everyone who sees my drawing likes it. But of course, a better approach is to do something just because it is interesting for you and enjoying the process no matter the results. Let's take puzzles as an example. You might think, oh, this is silly, I'm a grown-up and I don't have time for that. Even though so many many people were obsessed with puzzles as kids, they don't allow themselves to do puzzles right now because it is not that serious and they're an adult right now. And if we talk about reading, I struggle a lot with this one thing because I really wanted every single book I read to be effective. If this book is just for fun, I didn't want to read it. I wanted to read something just, to learn something, only to learn something. To relax, to unwind, of course not. And because of that, in the past, I would only read nonfiction. Can you imagine that? I would really put myself into this box of I had to read something that is extremely effective. So I had to only read nonfiction. Okay, guess what book I'm reading right now? A book for young adults that was nominated for Best Fantasy in 2020. The House in the Cerulean Sea. Right now, I just want to read a good story, and every single time I feel like I want to read a good story, I want to feel something light and wholesome, I read something like this, and I don't care if it's not another productivity book. Time alone can be perceived in both ways. You observe yourself and you observe other people. Every single time I go to a new coffee shop, it's new atmosphere, new people there working, new people coming, and sometimes I would just sit there, work, or people watch. The time when I observe myself is when I practice yoga and meditation. With yoga, I find myself unlocking this art of creation and being fully present with what I'm creating. I would alternate poses and really tap into what can serve me today at this very moment. Cheryl Strayed, the author of Wild, said, "When you're alone, you really have to rely on yourself. We're all strong, resilient, and capable. But when you're alone, you're forced to draw on that. Doing things on your own is a great boost in confidence." I wanted to go back to a sort of primal desire to test myself against these challenges without having anyone encourage me along the way. No matter which hobby you choose, reading, yoga, hiking, scrapbooking, language learning, they can all have a meditative effect on you. When you're immersed in your hobby, it becomes a form of meditation in motion. And this helps you to focus and shut out all the negative self-talk. Similar to how exercise releases energy in the body, creative energy needs an outlet too. It helps you relax, reset your brain, and recharge your spirit. If you get anxious about what hobby to choose, it is absolutely okay. You just need to try. Try this one thing, see if you like it. If you don't like it, it's totally okay to quit and try something else. Recently, I wanted to learn to play ukulele, and to be honest, I probably only took like 2 classes and that's it, because at one point I realized that it's not that it's not for me, it's just I didn't really want to do it. And that's why I stopped and I decided to move on to a different thing and explore something else. The important thing is the process of discovering yourself. Take Marie Forleo, for example. She realized that her unrelated hobbies like writing, hip-hop, psychology, entrepreneurship, spirituality, fitness were actually her greatest strength. I tortured myself trying to choose a niche. While narrowing down can be sound advice, it doesn't work for everyone. Many of us need to pursue multiple paths simultaneously because we discover our unique convergence point. Exercise your hands. I think we can all agree that our bodies and our hands in particular are becoming less and less flexible. We hold our phone every single day or a computer mouse, and honestly, it doesn't really help my flexibility at all. Something like pottery and ceramics, knitting and crocheting, woodworking, gardening, playing musical instruments require hand movements. You will engage muscles that haven't been engaged in years. A few weeks ago, I started learning the American Sign Language, and oh my God, my hands had never felt so clumsy before. When I'm practicing sign language and learning new signs, I feel like my mind can relax because it is definitely a new experience for me and it is something that I have never done before. And so doing these motions with my hands, learning the alphabet, A, B, C, D, really helps me improve my hand coordination, obviously talk to more people in the future. I also feel like when we're focused on the end goal, like making a mug out of clay, let's say, we often take shallow breaths because we're too immersed in the process, right? We don't actually notice like every single movement we're making, like every single part we're fixing, everything we're creating right now. And so taking a moment to actually be present and enjoy this feeling of creating a mug, or when I'm practicing sign language, actually enjoy this feeling of moving my hand and learning the alphabet helps me so much. It's such a different experience. The mug you're creating might not be perfect, but you are the one creating it. You're the one being right here in this very moment. And yes, I understand that it's really hard to be always present at every single point during your day. But the idea is to listen, to sometimes remind yourself to breathe, to take a breath in and a breath out. Being proud that you remembered versus being hard on yourself that you forgot. Meditation is not easy. If you ask a random group of people why they meditate, they will give you so many different answers. It all depends on the person, really. When it comes to every single aspect of your life, and especially when it comes to meditation, it's very important to know your why. Why are you meditating? I've had a pretty rocky relationship with meditation because for a very long time, I didn't understand my why. I didn't fully understand why I was meditating. Now I understand how it can help me and why I'm doing it. So now meditation has become an important part of my life.
You need the tool to observe yourself, and meditation helps you to accomplish that.
If you get that picture of a person who is sitting cross-legged and meditating, I want you to know that this is not the only way to meditate. We previously talked about hobbies. Those can be your form of meditation as well. So in other words, it's when we listen, we notice, we're focused, and we breathe. I find a lot of benefits of meditation when I don't feel that great. I don't like when this feeling of anxiety takes over me, so then I go to meditation. I feel like for me, it's in that moment when the magic of meditation happens. It's in those stressful times that you discover so much about yourself and put yourself to the test. So take some time to slow down and just be with yourself. It's a simple way to add good things into your life and let go of everything that's not helping you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're thinking about what to watch next, you can check out this video on how to be effortlessly confident. I'll see you there.